comparing this to when I was a junior, it really almost feels like a different sport. It really does feel like a whole new challenge.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Odd Tandem. Today, we had our youngest female guest on the podcast ever, and I was absolutely blown away with her positivity and her energy. She holds 4 world championships right now, 2 on the track, 1 on the road, and 1 in the time trial event. Jens, Cat Ferguson, what a pleasure it was to speak with her today.
It was an absolute pleasure. She's only 18 years old, like one of my daughters. But yet she is still fairly grown up and gave us great answers. And she started cycling at the age of 12. And before, she already started another sport. So it is an absolutely fantastic and interesting talk we had with her.
She is definitely the Energizer Bunny, and she's got a long and hopefully very successful career ahead of her. So sit back and relax and listen to our great conversation today with Cat Ferguson. All right, welcome Cat Ferguson to the Odd Tandem.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, you know, this is kind of cool for us. I mean, you are our youngest female guest, and we know
really?
that you're busy with the classics. So my question is, where are you coming to us from right now?
So now I'm in France, ready for Paris-Roubaix on Saturday. Today we did our first recon, and then tomorrow we've got the second half of the recon.
I remember the first time we did, when I, back in my days, did the recon. I stopped like after 50 yards, 100 meters. I said, hey, you guys are making fun out of me. There's no way that these are the roads. Do you play a practical joke on me because I'm the neo-pro? And then we did race on it. How was your first 5 seconds on the pavé? How was that for you?
I think the first sector was a 4-star one, so it was a pretty extreme one straight away.
Yeah, a good one. Yep.
But actually, I did Flanders last week, and after that recon, I don't think anything, could surprise me or top that. I think I completely bonked. In the UK means like ran out of energy, and everything in the recon. So I think today actually it was a pleasant surprise. It was nowhere near as hard as the Flanders recon, but definitely has taken a toll on my arms. And I actually did ask the masseuse if she could massage my arms. So I think I need to head to the gym after this and work on that.
Oh, gosh, thank God I didn't do any of that stuff, because I just hear the horror stories. I see the pictures of the blistered hands, the bloody hands. No thanks. All right, we're going to talk a lot about that. But before we get going any further, we have a set of 4 quick fire questions, just quick questions, quick answers. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, what was your favorite subject in school?
PE, physical education, of course.
Okay. What is your favorite hobby off the bicycle?
Oh dear. At the minute, actually learning Spanish.
Oh, that could come in handy on Movistar, huh? Okay.
You'd hope so, yeah.
Okay, this is, I'm super interested in hearing the answer to this one. So we read and doing our research that you started in alpine skiing, but where did you start alpine skiing in the UK, or was it just on like some family vacation? Yeah,
my parents used to go skiing like every year, so I'd go with them. So I'd start on a family vacation, but then I joined like a skiing club in the UK, and I just like go and train a couple of times a week on like plastic, and it really is very different to skiing on real snow. So you sort of develop your own sport and everything. So when I would go and race then on the snow, it felt completely different. But yes, I did that until maybe I was around 12 or 14, and then I fully like swapped to cycling.
Okay. Well, if you swapped to cycling, you had to have a hero. Who was your cycling hero when you were getting into cycling?
It was definitely Lizzie Deignan for me. Yeah, she's from the same place as me in the UK, from Yorkshire. And I love sport when I was a kid. Just any sport, I was obsessed with it. And I loved the Olympics. Like when they came to London, it meant everything to me. And I watched I think every single sport I could. And I remember Lizzie was the first person to win a medal. She won the silver, and in the road race. And from then on, I was really fixated on Lizzie, and still now she's probably my sporting idol.
So when you told us that after the alpine skiing you changed to cycling, what triggered the change? Was just the shiny, brand new, cool looking bike, or what was the moment where you go, "Hey, that is my sport"?
I think for me it was just really a lot more sociable than skiing. Like skiing is way too much focus for me anyway on just like technique, and you end up speaking more about the sport than doing the sport. And cycling was much more, you did the sport a lot more. So I much just preferred it, and I met good friends at my cycling club, and that's really what made me swap.
Wow. That it definitely makes a difference when you're younger to ride bikes with people your age, right? I started biking with my dad and this one other guy that rode bikes in my hometown, and it got kind of boring. And then all of a sudden my dad was like, "Hey, let's go and ride down valley a little bit with some young kids." And then I was like, "Wow, I'm not, this is totally cool." But you said that you're in France, which makes sense right now because of Paris-Roubaix and the recon and stuff like that. But you did quite a few classics prior. Is Team Movistar like always based out of the same hotel for the classics block?
No, we swap around a lot. But right now we're in a really good hotel because we're right next to a big shopping centre. So we've basically been spending more hours in the shopping centre than doing the recons.
One thing I remember, I didn't do the Cobble Classics, but I did the Ardennes Classics. And we would go to Belgium, and I was on Team Motorola back then. Sean Yates was a teammate, and it was right around Easter time. So it being Belgium, number one, being known for good chocolates, number two, they would always have these huge like bowls of like chocolate Easter eggs. And when you came into the hotel reception, this jar was full. And by like the third day, it was empty, but none of the cyclists ate them. So do they still have the chocolate at the receptions in Belgium in the hotels that you stay at?
No, unfortunately not. We have a hotel that we always go to next to the service course in Pamplona in Spain, which is good, has a similar sort of thing. It has a big sweet bowl, which I've found. I've not actually discussed with any of the other team if they also found it. But I'm sure they have. But sweets is okay because that's just carbs, so it's okay.
There you go.
We talked about all the food, and you probably need to fuel up for Sunday's race. Will that be your longest race ever in your life, in your young career?
I think no. I think for me, Flanders was the longest. I think that was like 178k, and Roubaix like 160 maybe.
Well, yeah. Tell us a little bit about Ghent-Wevelgem, the Ronde. We know that you actually crashed. We saw you on TV crash in Ghent-Wevelgem. But like, what is your first impression at the World Tour level riding these classic cobbled races?
Oh, it's crazy. Like, for me, comparing this to when I was a junior, it really almost feels like a different sport. From everything, from obviously the physical level of the girls to just positioning in the bunch, it really does feel like a whole new challenge. But it's definitely everything that I thought it would be. The atmosphere of racing in Belgium and the crowds it's really special, and really Flanders made me love cycling even more after doing the race. And I feel really lucky to be here also doing the biggest races, and for the team to allow me to do them and put not much pressure on me at 18 it feels like a dream come true.
Now that you had a little bit of a taste of these different races, you're still 18, so there's lots of time to develop for you. Where do you think you want to go, or where will you go? Classic riders, you go time trial, will you focus on that? Will you try GC? Or you go, no, these Belgian classics are the world to me?
I think so far I've really enjoyed the classics. I've not done anything else yet, but I think for me in the future, I think the Belgian classics, I think, will be the best for me, I think.
Well, you're no stranger to world championships either. Last year, you won the road race and the time trial at the world championships. I have a question about the time trial. When you won the time trial at the Junior Worlds last year, are you young women riding those massive chain rings that we see the men using? Like, what size big chain ring did you use to win the Worlds last year?
I think I used a 56. So no, not that crazy. I mean, it was a flat course, so really no, nothing crazy.
Well, that's still a big gear. That's a tendency we see in men's cycling, I believe, in women's cycling as well, right? Because you don't want to have the chain on the right side. So you try to have a bigger chain ring and keep it in the 14, 15, right?
Yes, yeah.
Did your partner SRAM, did he help you with that? Did he tell you, hey, you better use this, or was it just all the team telling you what to do?
Yeah, the team, they gave me some options. So I think I was 2 by before the time trial, and then we decided to swap and go for 1 by.
Ooh, 1 by 56. You better not hit any sort of incline. Holy cow. Holy cow. But, you've participated in a lot of different disciplines in cycling with, the road, the track, cyclocross, which I believe is great for overall development of skills. Do you feel that by your history of doing these different disciplines that you've learned something in each one that you can take forward into, this next phase of your career?
Yeah, 100%. I think the technical skills you learn, but also it teaches you a lot mentally to balance them all, and each one comes with a different mental challenge. Like cyclocross is always, there's so much more nerves for me attached to cyclocross because you go full gas from the start. It's not like a road race. So I think you definitely learn so much, and it's really important for me in my career so far, like you just said, to have experienced all these different disciplines in cycling, track, cyclocross, road, to really give you a taste of everything that cycling has to offer.
And again, coming back to the fact that you are just 18 years old, can you already see your future shaping? You want to do all these different sports? Hey, have a winter season whatever, Matthew van der Poel, and do cyclocross, do the classics, or you go now, it's just road cycling, or I will later on focus on mountain bike or cyclocross. You prefer any over the other? You love more than other sports in cycling?
I just really like riding my bike. So right now, for me, road is my favorite because I'm doing it now. If you ask me in the cross season, it would probably be cyclocross. And then when I'm on the track, the same too. And if I could, I would love to keep doing all 3 disciplines for as long as I can. But I know that at some point, one of them probably will have to give if I want to fully get the most out of road or cyclocross or something. So right now, I want to keep doing it until someone says to me, I really don't think you should, or you have to stop, then I will stop.
We got a funny text message from somebody that you may know. After you did the double world championship last year, winning rides in Zurich, is it true that you went for a swim of some sort or wanted to go for a swim? What's the story there?
Yeah, I went for, maybe I wouldn't call it a swim. I went in some form of water that you can't swim in, which I found out when I went in as I realised it was not deep enough to go in. But yes, I think I have an idea of who this person was, and he really has told the whole world this, so I won't be telling him anything like this again.
So it was a short swim. But what triggered that idea? You go, hey, look, I need to release some stress to create some happy hormones? Or what triggered the idea to do something so far out of the box?
I'm not sure. To be honest, the memory is not really present in my mind. Only the pictures really reminded me that I had gone for a swim.
So, after you win the Worlds, you join Movistar. Was this in the works for a while, or was it the first team that came and said, hey, we're interested in you for next year? Because, you just admitted that you're learning Spanish. I mean, it's a very historical team. It's a very old school team. What was your motivation there to join Movistar?
Yeah, I was approached by quite a few teams, like the start of my first year as a junior, and I spoke to lots of different teams, but I really just had a really good feeling after speaking to Movistar. I loved how it seemed to me really like a family, and I think that's something of Spanish culture, very familiar based. And I've grown up with my dad really into cycling, and he created a junior team that I raced on and all my friends raced on, and it really was quite a family environment. So for me it was really important to keep that going forward, especially at such a young age. And the plan they had for me was, really no pressure based on development, like letting me do what I want to do, disciplines that I wanted to do. And, Movistar is not a cyclocross team. They don't do cyclocross, but their willingness to adapt and do it for me, showed me that it was a team for me. And I have to say, I'm like 100% really happy with my decision now. I really am.
When you signed with them, it's a world tour team, highest possible level. Did you tell them straight away, hey, listen, whatever you do, I keep my dad as my coach, or you have a coach with the team, you have to follow a training plan from the team, send in your files and all that, or you go, nah, forget about that, my dad is the man?
No, actually, it was probably the opposite. I would have rather them give me a coach so that my dad can take a step back a bit. I love him and he's really great, and I love the fact he's into my cycling, but definitely I would have preferred for someone else to do it than him, yes.
But you made that transition from junior racer to World Tour trainee for Movistar very quickly. I believe you finished like second in your first race with them. How did you do that? Because, I mean, it is a big step from the juniors to the World Tour. You just felt like totally comfortable right away?
Yeah, and
wow,
that's it. I think I felt comfortable with the team, and I think it showed to me and to everyone else how comfortable I was with the team, and already it proved that I was getting results, because for me, when I'm happy, I get results.
And just for our viewers and listeners too, for a better understanding, when you go from juniors, I strongly believe you train less than today, right? So once you met with Team Movistar and he signed you up and you had a coach with the team, what is it like? More hours, 10% more, 20% more miles, more intervals? What would be some key differences to your junior program until now on World Tour level?
Mm-hmm. I would say probably the main difference is just more hours, and that's just more hours at Zone 2. At junior, I did lots of intervals and similar intervals because it's as intense, but just not for as long. But yeah, the hours definitely have increased. I think for me, it was not maybe a normal winter for other road cyclists because I was also doing cyclocross. So I didn't maybe fully experience what it was like to do a real off season yet. But yeah, from what I noticed, definitely just more hours, I think.
And do you think cyclocross, the fitness that you maintain or even gain over the off season was something that helped you in the first race of the year this year, where you placed third at the Trofeo Alfredo Binda race? Or did you do like training camps to get ready for that?
Yeah, I did one training camp in the middle of my cross season, which us as a team, we only have one training camp actually in the winter. But I think definitely it helped me with that really high-end power immediately to come into that in the first race, and I already have that. And as you said, I was third, and it was in a sprint that I got that position. So I think probably it did help to already have that little bit of explosivity from the cyclocross season.
And having such a good start, the other team members, riders, do they sometimes feel like they are like a little mother to you and talk to you like you're your little baby and give you like some motherly advices? And if yes, do you actually want that? Or you go, no, I'm not a baby anymore. I'm younger, but I'm not a baby. How is that going?
Yeah, I would say it's more sisterly advice, which I really like it. I think, as I said, the team really feels like our family here. And I have no siblings actually, so for me, I really enjoy that, and I'm grateful for all of them. And yeah, I did my first race with Marlon Reusser and Liana Lippert in Flanders, and for me that was really inspiring to race with them. Like they at one point were shouting at the radio for me to attack and things, and when I know that voice at the end of the radio is Marlon Reusser, it definitely makes me go that 5 or 10% harder.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Just a quick curiosity question, because I'm such a fan of this gentleman. You mentioned Pamplona, you're on Movistar. Have you met Miguel Indurain?
No,
No.
I have not. I've met Valverde, but no, I have not met Indurain, no.
He is still the only rider that I get nervous around, past,
Really?
present, or future. Maybe if I ran into Matteo Van der Poel or Tadej Pogacar, I'd be nervous right now. But like growing up, he was the only guy that I would just forget what I was going to say to him when he came up to me.
Okay, no, he's on my list then. I have to meet him too.
So Bobby and me, we are both fathers of daughters. I have 2 sons and 4 daughters. Bobby has 2 daughters. My daughters go through, let's say, a challenging time at the time from 16 to 20. How is that for you and cycling? Does cycling help you with these years? Or you just live your challenge and your passion and your ups and downs? Or how is that going for you as a young woman? Because with my daughters, holy smokes sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I mean, for me, I know nothing else other than cycling between 16 to 20. But I think, yes, it gives me a focus and really something that I live for every day and I think about. So yes, it can be seen maybe as a distraction, but that's maybe good in this sense. So I think definitely cycling or sport in general really can make you more passionate for life, I suppose. So I think 100%, yeah.
And none of our daughters actually race bicycles, which I'm pretty happy with, because now that I'm retired and watching you men and women on TV, I cringe when you guys crash and, hurt yourselves. How are you feeling after that crash in Ghent-Wevelgem? Have you recovered?
I think just about. I was also ill just before Ghent-Wevelgem too, so it was a combination of recovering from illness and the small injuries I got from the crash. So maybe it came at a good time to rest for both things. But yeah, I definitely realize that there is a lot more crashes in the sport now that I'm in the elite category. Just everyone is fighting for position so much more, and there's so many riders in the bunch. And it's definitely one of the big negatives about the sport. It's really hard mentally as well when you are fearful in the bunch. But yes, now I'm recovered, just hoping that no more crashes occur at Roubaix.
Talking Roubaix, what would be your job, your role? Would you be a helper trying to reach the first or second feed zone? Would you have a domestic role to play, or would you be a co-leader? Or what's your target, your dream, your wish, and your plan for Roubaix?
Yeah, so I think for Roubaix this year, I will probably be given a free role, which for me basically means that I sort of have no responsibility. I just need to survive as long as I can survive. And yeah, it means that there's no pressure on me, and really is something that the team is trying to do for me this year a little bit. So it's really exciting for me. In some other races this year, I've been given jobs and things to do, which obviously is very normal. But this race, I have a bit more freedom. So I'm hoping that, it will be more results focused for me.
And what sort of advice are you taking from the elder ladies on your team, like Marlene, about Paris-Roubaix? Is it gear selection? Is it tire pressure? Is it how to, which way to ride the cobbles? What sort of advice are they giving you? Because I'm sure you're just like a sponge taking it all in.
Yeah, completely. I mean, today, really basic things like I was really riding at the really edge of the cobbles, like almost not on the cobbles, on the grassy banks next to it. And yeah, Elena Eric told me today that you cannot ride there in the race because there would be spectators there, and something just so simple as that, which if I thought about, I probably could have, come to the conclusion myself. But from the most simple things like that to positioning and what happened in specific moments, they were telling me today.
I remember my first Roubaix in the bus, and more back then we had camping cars, no buses yet. They started taping their wrist. I thought, okay, that makes sense for the vibrations. Then they started to taping their hips and their shoulders. I'm like, why would you tape your hip? And they go, well, because when you crash the first time, it only takes the tape away, and only the second crash takes the skin off. I'm like, oh, what did I sign up for? I hope it's not that bad anymore, and the weather probably is going to be good, so it will be good for you. Did you then actually experiment a little bit with the tire pressures, the tire widths? Is that the word? Tire widths and tire pressure? Is there any secrets? Or you go, nah, I'm not allowed to tell you if you use 3.1 or 3.8 bar?
No, I can tell you because I don't think anyone wants to copy me. But no, I changed a lot. I think I ended up probably going with 3 on front and back. But thankfully it's something I'm used to. In cyclocross we change it lots, and also the different tire choices, but unfortunately I can't do that. I just have to go for the smoother one on Saturday. But yeah, definitely something we did today, and really interesting for me. I really like the science behind cycling, sports science and everything like that, so for me it was really interesting too.
And will you have a 1x or 2x setup for Roubaix?
Yeah, we go for 1x.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I'd have a triple chain ring on even in Paris-Roubaix because I just had no skills. I'd be going so much slower than everyone over the cobbles. I'd need that little gear to get through there. But, so after Roubaix, you head into kind of the Ardennes Classic. You do Brabant-Sapel, Flèche Wallonne, and then also on your schedule is the Tour of Spain, the Vuelta a España Femenine. Is it tough going from the cobble classics to the Ardennes and then into a stage race, or are you just learning by doing right now?
I'm not sure, to be honest. You tell me. You two are the better ones to tell me if it's tough to go from the cobble classics to the Ardennes. But I will find out. But for me, I really enjoy changing different bikes and surfaces to ride on. I do 3 different disciplines, so for me the change I really enjoy. So I think, for me, I think I will like it.
I must say, first of all, deepest respect for you to just take it like that. I mean, they throw you into the deep end. Couple classics, Roubaix, legendary race. The hilly classics in Belgium. Oh, now a Grand Tour. It's like, and you go, yep, sir, or ma'am. I do that. That is so cool. And I think that's good. Keep that. Don't overthink it. Just follow the flow. For the upcoming Grand Tour, the Vuelta, there you will really have to try and test yourself, right? Or did you ever try racing in the high mountains in the Pyrenees, for example? Did you ever did that before? Or you go, maybe I try to win one stage in a sprint in a smaller group? Or what's your desire going into the first Grand Tour?
Yeah, I was told that I was doing the Vuelta, I think maybe 4 days ago now. So it's really a new thing to me. But I think my desire, which I'm thinking of right now on the spot, is probably, I just want to do my role really well for the team and keep learning how to do the domestique role and make sure the team is happy with me.
Did you already, in your first time with them, did you find something where you go, if I would have magic power, I would change exactly this. This is so getting on my nerves. I need to change this. Do you have anything like that? You go, no, I just came up from the juniors and I'm happy with whatever happens. I'm just glad and follow along. Or you have 1 or 2 things where you go, no, I think we should change that.
No, really good question. Right now, no. I mean, I really am new to everything. So for me, I'm still learning what is good and what is bad and what works for me. I think if you ask me this question in a year's time, I probably could say something because obviously not everything is perfect. But right now, no, I really couldn't give you an answer to that.
This is kind of interesting. We had Ned Bolting on the podcast last year, and we asked him who would be the next rider from the UK to win the Tour de France. He didn't think about it very long, but he said Cat Ferguson. Is the Tour de France femme on your program? And what do you think about Ned Bolting saying that about you?
Oh, okay. No, the Tour is not on my program this year. Things could change, but for the minute, no, I really don't think I will be starting there. But wow, that's really nice, I must say. But I think maybe a bit unrealistic, but we will see. We will see. I would never say never. Of course, for me, it would be a massive dream. I said I used to do skiing, so I would go to the Alps lots when I was a kid, and I did lots of the Alpine passes, and my parents actually have a business in Alpe d'Huez, so I have done that climb lots. I didn't get to watch it when the Tour finished up there, but in 2027 the Tour comes and it starts in the UK, so for me that would be a massive goal, to go and at least do the Tour, and then maybe target a stage or something like that would be awesome.
Well, I guess we should get you back after the Vuelta, and then you go, this is the most stupid thing ever invented. Or you go, this was the best ever. I want to do more of that, right? You're probably going to love it or hate it, I guess, right? Or what do you think?
Yes. I think I will really like it. I think the back-to-back days of racing is a really new concept to me. The most I've ever done back-to-back racing is only like 3 days or something. So I'm really excited. Also very, very nervous. But yeah, super excited. And also this year to race the Tour of Britain, I'm really excited to do. I know it's not a Grand Tour or anything, but to race on home roads too.
And is that in June? Because the Women's Tour of Britain is before the Men's Tour of Britain, I believe, because the Men's Tour of Britain is in September. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in June.
Well, you've come into cycling in a perfect time. Women's cycling is taking off. Your attitude of just, hey, I'm learning, I'm loving everything. What sort of changes would you like to see that haven't happened yet from women's cycling in the sport of women's cycling? Because it must just be kind of great coming into the sport when the sport has picked up the way that it has. We had Connie Carpenter-Phinney on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and she was telling us how difficult it was. And she's her daughter-in-law is Kasia Niewiadoma, so she's kind of like in it as well. I'm just curious, like, how do you feel the way that it's going, and are there any specific things that you would like to see improve?
Yeah, I mean, right now, like you just said, everything for me really feels like a dream world. So for me, it's difficult to see the imperfections, because I feel really lucky to be joining the sport at this time. We had the first San Remo for women. It was my first San Remo as well as Marianne Voss's. So I really have joined the sport at the best possible time, and that really doesn't feel like right now there is much to almost improve on. But I know there is. Our Grand Tours are only 9 days, 10 days, and maybe we are not physically able to do the 21 days, but in some way I think it would be nicer for them to be maybe a bit longer. Maybe I will say differently after I've done one myself also, but we'll see. But yeah, I think right now, for me anyway, I'm still honestly learning the things that need to be improved on in women's cycling. As right now all I see is how fortunate I am to be here.
How fortunate, it's a good bridge to my next question. When I signed with my first big team, it was just like Christmas. I mean, back in my old team, we had to travel with a bike, and we would sometimes have to share a TT bike. You rush to the finish, give it to your teammate, they lower the seat and jump on the same bike, more or less. And then you come to a pro team, you get a suitcase full of clothes with your name tag in it. You get 3 bikes, 1 training bike you take home, 2 identical race bikes, 1 or 2 TT bikes. I was just like, oh my God, this is like Christmas. Was it the same for you when you come from your juniors?
Yeah, no, 100%. I remember I picked up my 2 bikes quite early, so I rode on them a little bit when I was a junior, and that felt like, yeah, the biggest Christmas ever, going and getting my first bikes from a World Tour team, and then, yeah, getting all the kit, and even just doing like photo shoots and everything for me was really exciting. And sometimes I really feel like it's fake, actually, that I'm on this team and I have a massage every day, and yeah, they do my washing every day. It doesn't almost feel like real life yet.
But you're in the trenches. You're learning. You're learning something new every day, I'm sure. But what do you feel is your biggest limiter at the moment? Experience, positioning, power, tactics, fueling. Where would you like to improve?
Yeah, at the minute I'm really struggling, I think, with positioning the most. Like I'm quite an aggressive rider, but here in this peloton, like, it's really not enough. Like, you have to fight so much, and it really is, yeah, the detriment to your race. If you're not in a position for even an hour of the race, you're wasting energy and everything. So I 100% think, for now anyway, that's really what I need to improve on. Also, fueling a little bit, I'm struggling with. Like, we have 55 gram gels in this team, and for me, like, that's really a lot of carbs to have at once. So I'm struggling a little bit to digest it all in a race, and then not wanting to take it because it makes me uncomfortable. So yeah, just small things that I'm still trying to get right in races.
I was just about to ask about nutrition. In the men's racing, it's the tendency to have up to 150, 180 grams carbohydrate per hour, even in the first hour already, so your energy level wouldn't drop towards the finale. Is that a thing in women's cycling as well? You have more carbohydrates to take in? And last year we did like a little portrait about Team Cofidis. They had a digestion training day, where they try to stuff in as many gels as possible to train the body to absorb it and turn it into energy. You guys do something like that?
Okay, so no, we don't have something like that. That sounds really awful to me.
Yes, I think so too.
Leave it to a French team to do something like that.
But no, I mean, I try to train as much as I can now with the gels that we use on the team. So that I'm getting more used to specifically just the 226's product. And yeah, I'm aiming for 90 grams an hour, but not quite hitting that. Yeah, it's almost like I need to switch on the switch in my mind to tell me to eat 90 grams of carbs in the first hour of the race when I'm feeling good and fresh and everything. Like, it's not normal to me, really. But yeah, I'm hoping that it will come with time.
And you can't possibly just train all the time and race all the time with gels and carbohydrates in your bottles. There's got to be something that you enjoy eating in that musette bag in the feed zone, or that you pick up in the bus. What is your favorite thing to eat in a race other than, the technical gel and carbohydrate drink?
I think definitely like the crispy. I'm sure you've seen it, but it's just like marshmallow with like Cocoa Pops or Rice Krispies melted together and cut into squares. It's really, really nice. Definitely my favorite. And even I could eat it off the bike sometimes. It's that nice.
So it looks like the epicenter of cycling, professional cycling, is in and around Girona. You moved there as well, right? Apparently. And
yes, actually to Andorra.
Andorra, okay. And how is it that you meet all these cyclists day in, day out? I mean, you meet legends, you meet people who go, oh, we just had this fight on a weekend, and now on my easy coffee shop, right, I see this person again. How is that for you? Is it good? Does it help you to feel part of the community? Or you go, sometimes I wish I would be alone on my mountain here.
No, I really like it. I mean, that's the reason I started cycling, because it's such a sociable sport. You know, you race with your competitors at the weekend, but also you can go and do an easy ride and get a coffee with them in the weekdays. So I think that's really is one of my favorite things about cycling. And I think as a sport, cycling has a really good community. And it's really nice to see others out whilst you are training and everything, I think.
Cycling used to be a lot more sociable for me when I was fit. You know, now the coffee stop intensity is kind of like my max. Like I'm good. I don't want to go any harder than that. So enjoy being young and being fit, Kat, because riding with even some juniors in this area where I live, I'm like, we never trained this fast, I don't think. But then, yeah, when your level goes down, your perception of effort goes up. So maybe I'm just talking out both sides of my mouth here. But Kat, if you weren't a cyclist or a skier, what profession or what do you think would be your passion other than, sports? Is there anything else that interests you?
Oh, I thought the question was going to be, what other sport would you do? But
I knew you'd say probably cyclocross or track riding. But
triathlon.
Okay, let's say another sport then.
I think triathlon, because it obviously has cycling in it. Probably, I cannot say that answer, but yeah, probably triathlon, because you can train so much and I really like training. So I think probably triathlon. But if it wasn't to do with sport, I would probably do something to do with, like, it's a little bit niche, but like working in like a psychiatric hospital. I don't know, I find really interesting, like getting to know like the minds of criminals and prisoners, that sort of thing is what I would want to go into, I think.
Wow, I have an easier question. Once my daughters found out that they are 21, 19, 17, and 14. So once they found out that you are just 18, said, you have to ask her if she is a Swiftie, if you're a Taylor Swift fan. That was my daughters insisted on this question. Ask her if she is a Swiftie, a Taylor Swift fan.
I have to disappoint them. I wouldn't say I'm like not a Swiftie, but I wouldn't say I am. I'm just in the middle, like I love some of her songs, but I'm not like a diehard fan. I don't listen to her every day.
And do you like to listen to music when you're training? I think it's kind of like 50-50, if you ask people this question.
Yeah, 100%. I could listen to music the whole day, I think.
So what is your favorite genre of music then?
I think for me, probably is like techno, like just music without any lyrics, but in between techno and like house music, because I think whilst you're on a bike, it just fits so well with like the pedal stroke. And yeah, probably techno. Some people really hate it, some people love it, but I love it.
So now that the end of the season is still so far away, right? What is that one thing that comes first to your mind? You go, yes, that's what I'm going to do when I finish the season. A house party, like, with house music, or go to a techno party or whatever, barbecue with the family. What would be the first thing you go, I really need to do that the moment I stop my season?
I think probably just going home to the UK and probably going and meeting my friends at uni and seeing what that life is like at university, because that's what all my friends my age are doing. I really want to do that, and I still have not been to see my friends at university yet. But also I love traveling. We get to travel so much as a cyclist, but it's more just hotel traveling, I would say. You get to see lots of insides of hotel rooms, which is lovely, and I really appreciate it and everything. But I would love to go, I think, to like South Africa and more countries that we don't go to for bike races.
Jens already knows this, but Jens and I both didn't go to college because we went straight, into professional cycling. But 2 weeks ago, I have an 18-year-old daughter, and we went to her university for her sorority parents' weekend. And I had never experienced anything like that. It was just, kids coming in and out and going to pubs and, all the stuff that you don't want to see your daughter do. But I just thought it was kind of cool. And I was wondering, like, gosh, if I would have, stopped cycling or gone on one of those trips and then kind of gotten into that, if it would have, changed the way I saw the sport. But I think it's part of growing up, right? You realize this isn't this is interesting, but that's not me. That's not my lifestyle. I want to do something different, which is being a professional cyclist. But so we're getting towards the end of the time that we have with you. You've been very patient with us, old guys. If
Talk to yourself or talk to.
We're the same age, Enzi. Even though
that's true.
Even though you put gel in your hair still, we are 54 years old, or soon to be 54 years old. When you are done with this sport, what would be your ultimate trophy or jersey from a race that you won that you would hold on to forever?
I think if I could pick one, it would probably be Olympic gold in the road race. I mean, it's not what every cyclist would say, but yeah, for me, I got into sport because of the Olympics, and I always dreamed of going there in whatever sport it would be, and now I have found my sport, so I 100% I think Olympic gold.
Just because you think it's the biggest race, or that was your first touch with cycling when Lizzie Danyang won her medal, or you just also like it for the country, or you think it's just the best ever to have?
I think it's just really the ultimate sporting event. It's what everyone in the world knows of professional sport, and it's what got me into cycling. So it means the most to me, I think.
Well, you'll have plenty of opportunities being just 18 years old. Los Angeles is right around the corner. I'm sure you'll go to many. But Cat, thank you so much for coming on the Odd Tandem today. I know there's a lot more things that 18-year-olds can do on a Wednesday evening in France, but thank you for spending time and letting us get to know you a little bit.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely to speak to you too.
Hey, thanks for watching the podcast. And if you enjoyed our talk with Cat, why not check out other videos with other female stars of our sport, like Kristen Faulkner or Kasia Niewodoma, by clicking here.
And remember, you can sign up for our Patreon to get an ad-free version of the podcast like these great people.